Yo, what is up guys? It's me Exactly, back bringing some more daily NBA news, highlights, discussions, everything. As always though, you guys know that you are the real MVPs. You're coming back each and every single day. Can't thank you enough. But now, let's just talk about some basketball. But first, a quick word about this video sponsor, athleticcases.com. Basketball, baseball, football, or soccer, no matter what the sport, you guys can now rock your favorite player on the back of your phone. Use the promo code ZACHLEE for 10% off. Link is in the description box below. But now with that out the way, on to the video. Let's go. A lot of people in the NBA world are upset with the Orlando Magic for firing their head coach Frank Vogel. I'm not one of those people. I honestly think this has to be one of the best things that could have possibly happened to Frank Vogel, because he can now go and coach an organization that knows what the heck it's doing, that isn't ran by one of the worst front offices in the league. Just look at these pictures of Frank Vogel as the head coach of the Magic. The dude looks depressed. That looks like a man who has given up on life. I mean, for real. Look at him a couple of years ago, back when he first signed up for the job. Still had some life in his eyes. And then look at him back in Indiana. Man looked happy, and 2 years later, looks like he's trying to figure out how he ended up at where he's at. So no, I do not feel bad for Frank Vogel. And honestly, I'm not mad at the Magic, since they did him a favor and let him get away from the toxicity of that organization. That being said, I am upset with the Orlando Magic for constantly being one of the worst run organizations that the league has ever seen, for wasting the talent of the little talented players that they have there, and for wasting the actual fans of the Magic's time for being fans of the Magic. The owners of the Orlando Magic need to step down. They need to sell that team to someone who actually cares, because Orlando has been rebuilding for the past 7 seasons, and there has been no sign of improvement. They don't even have that corner piece player that they can build around yet. It's not Aaron Gordon. He's not good enough to be that corner piece player. They don't have that franchise player yet. The Sixers started and finished their rebuilding process before the Orlando Magic even got a clue about what they're going to be doing in the future. The Chicago Bulls are closer to being finished rebuilding than the Orlando Magic. The Brooklyn Nets, who haven't had a lottery pick in years, are closer to finishing their rebuilding process than the Orlando Magic. The Los Angeles Clippers, who just started rebuilding, are closer to finishing than the Orlando Magic. The Dallas Mavericks are closer to finishing their rebuilding process than the Orlando Magic. The only team in the NBA who has been rebuilding for longer than the Magic are the Sacramento Kings. And I feel like they're going to finish rebuilding before the Orlando Magic. And I could sit here and go over all the dumb things that the Magic have done throughout the years, right? I could sit here and tell you about all the bad trades, all the just dumb things they have done in general over the past few years. But there's no point, because we already know everything that they've done. We know they traded away a bunch of their young talent, and all they had to show for it is Terrence Ross. We know that they were planning their offseason and all the trades and free agent signings they were going to make on a freaking whiteboard in the middle of nowhere and let it get exposed to the entire world. We know all of this already. We know they just fired a quality coach so they could blame him, try and make him the scapegoat for the reason they've been trashed for the past couple of years, when the real reason they've been trashed for the past couple of years is because they are trash. Like, what did they honestly expect Frank Vogel to do? Did they think he was some type of miracle worker that could take this dumpster pile of a team and make it look good? Now, I will admit that seeing some of the lineups, the rotations that Frank Vogel had been using in Orlando was kind of strange. Players would be in and out of the starting lineup, in and out of the rotation even, which is stuff that you don't normally see coaches do as often. I mean, he was switching up his lineup almost every single game, but I'm fairly certain that the reason he was doing that was to try and find something that worked on this team, some magical formula combination of the trash they had, make it work so they could actually look like a competent team out there on the court, and he just couldn't do it. No one could do it. It's impossible. Like I said, the man is not a miracle worker, yet he was trying his best to make things work. But he's free now, so congratulations, Frank Vogel. This is the best firing you could have ever asked for. As for the Orlando Magic, good luck to you and your organization and whatever poor sucker you get to coach there next. Speaking of coaches being fired though, Hornacek was also just let go of his job from the New York Knicks. And this This is another one that I'm not necessarily mad about. Whenever a coach gets fired for not being able to win with a team that doesn't have what it takes to be able to win, I can't put any blame on the coach and say that he deserved to get fired unless he did something ridiculous. But at the same time, for the New York Knicks, I know there are better coaches than Jeff Hornacek out there available. And as long as New York is able to get one of them, I can't necessarily be mad at them for letting go of Jeff Hornacek either. So after finishing this season with the worst record, 21-61, Devin Booker said that he is officially done with not making the playoffs anymore, which at first you would think is some kind of sick joke, or maybe he's just trying to get the fans excited for next season, give them some hope that their team won't be trash again. But then you hear what he said and you realize this guy is dead serious. Like, he legit is done with not making the playoffs. I'm done with not making the playoffs. I'm serious. This is probably my last year ever not making the playoffs. I want to say that, and that's putting a pressure on myself that I'm going to take into the summer and work that hard so it doesn't happen again. If I was a Phoenix Suns fan, this would have me excited. This will be exactly what I would want to hear. His last year ever not making the playoffs, he said. But here's the thing, I do expect the Phoenix Suns to come back a heck of a lot better next season. Devin Booker, I know he's going to come back and he should be an all-star next year. Those are the expectations that I have for him on a personal level as a player. I expect him to be an all-star. He was great his rookie season, stepped it up this year to put up 25, 5, and 5. So next year is the year that I expect him to make that leap and become an actual all-star. Not an all-star level player, but to actually make the team. I also expect their rookie, Josh Jackson, to pick up where he left off towards the end of the season. He made huge strides since just the beginning of the season on his offensive game, so I expect him to come back and build upon that even more next year. Not to be a star or anything in the NBA, but at least to cement himself as one of the future stars of this league. And TJ Warren, I just expect him to come back better like he has done every single year. But the thing is, besides those three players, the Phoenix Suns, everyone else on the Phoenix Suns is pretty suspect, especially with their future of the team. I don't think anyone outside of those guys is considered untouchable. And on top of that, you have to realize that the Phoenix Suns are in the Western Conference. You just saw how competitive it is out there this year. A very, very, very good team in the Denver Nuggets just missed out in the playoffs. And I expect that team to be back into the playoffs next season. So it's going to be competitive once again. So while I do like that Devin Booker's goal is to make the playoffs, that he's determined on making the playoffs and never missing the playoffs again in his career, it's a good goal to have. And if he works hard enough this summer along with Josh Jackson and TJ Warren, I do think they're going to make a huge leap in terms of win next season. But just because of how intense things get in the Western Conference, let's just say that I would be beyond surprised if they actually did make the playoffs next year. But who knows? Maybe the player they get with their pick in the lottery this year is like amazing right out of the gate and changes all of that. It kind of is going to depend on who they get and how great of a player he is already. That does it for all the news from yesterday though. So now let's take a look at the games and what went down in the games last night, because a lot happened in the games last night. You know what? Good stuff, Denver. Y'all played great to put yourselves in a position to get into the playoffs. I know it must suck to come so close and then just to miss out like that, but you know, use this as a chip on your shoulder to get even better next season. Jamal Murray, you're another player that I expect to make a huge leap next season. You did it from year 1 to year 2, now do it again. If you do that, no question, Denver will be back in the playoffs next year. And it won't come down to the last game of the season for you guys to get in. As for Minnesota though, good job. Good stuff on your end too. Didn't crack even when the Nuggets tied the game up and even took the lead late in the final minutes. Andrew Wiggins stepped to the line and hit those 2 clutch free throws that pretty much sealed the game. He's only a 64% free throw shooter on the year, and he made both calmly with his season potentially being on the line. Good stuff. And the reason I seem so hard on Wiggins is because I expect so much more from him than what he's displayed this season. And what I expect from him isn't out of nowhere either. It's not unreasonable for me to expect him to be great because he has already shown signs that he can be great. But you're in the playoffs now, Wiggins. Those 2 free throws don't completely make up for the season that you've had. So please, prove me wrong in the playoffs. Prove me wrong. Show me that you're not a disappointment. I want you to be great, bro, and that's why I get so frustrated that you haven't been great this year. Once again, though, congrats to the Wolves for making the playoffs. Towns was great. Butler missed some key free throws, but still made plays down the stretch, and Gibson played some great defense, so congratulations. Did anyone really doubt the fact that Russell Westbrook was going to get the 16 rebounds that he needed to average a triple-double for the second year in a row? I mean, for real, we all knew that it was going to happen one way or another. Before the game, he pretty much said that is what he was going to do, and he also kind of went off on all the people who say that he stat pad.
First of all, it's not a process. It's not like it's people boxing out and not getting a rebound. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people make jokes about, you know, whatever, stat padding or going to get rebounds. If people could get 20 rebounds every night, they would. If people could fucking get 15 rebounds, they would. The people that's talking or saying whatever they need to say, they should try and do it and see how hard it is. Since everybody's so, you know, everybody wants to be talking, and you know, I'm tired of hearing the same old rebound this, stealing rebound, all this shit. I take pride in what I do. Come out and playing, and I get the ball faster than somebody else get to it. That's just what it is. If you don't want it, I'm gonna get it. Simple as that.
Russ, you've had a lot of situations where your team has been in a big situation and you individually could get a big honor as well. How do you handle all that going into a game like this tonight?
You just do what you need to do to win. Tonight, scoring is what it is, and that's what it is. If it's rebounding, that's what it is. If it's passing, that's what it's defending. My job is to do everything, and that's what I do. I go out, do everything, and I do it on a night in, night out basis, and nobody else do the same shit I do every night. Simple as that.
See, the thing is, we all know how great the Thunder are when Westbrook gets a triple-double. Call it stat padding if you want, but the bottom line is, they win when Russell Westbrook gets a triple-double. Like he said, it's his job to go out on the court and do everything. When he does his job, they win. So I don't see how anyone can knock him for trying to do what it takes to get the Thunder wins. Sure, sometimes he makes mistakes or tries to do too much, but that's just his nature. It's the type of player he is, and he is a phenomenal player. First player to ever average back-to-back triple-doubles. So yes, congratulations, Russell Westbrook. He had 20 rebounds and 19 assists on the night. What was a better sight for the Thunder, though, than Westbrook getting another triple-double was Paul George hitting shots right before the playoffs start. You remember how we said last week that there was something technically wrong with his shot, right? And he hadn't been able to make a shot since the All-Star break. Well, he snapped out of it yesterday, scoring 40 points, hitting 8 of his 14 three-point attempts. The man found his shot just in time. 137 to 123, the Thunder beat the Grizzlies. Well, I guess this was the Sixers' message to everyone who said all the teams they played on the winning streak were trash. Philly dropped 46 points on the Milwaukee Bucks in the first quarter, and the game was over after that. 130 to 95. Markelle Fultz with his first career triple-double of 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, now making him the youngest player to ever get a triple-double. That honor was Lonzo Ball's that he got earlier this season after he took it away from LeBron James, and now of course it's Markelle Fultz, so congratulations to Fultz, I guess. And Philly finishing their season super strong with a 16-game winning streak. First loss to the Pelicans yesterday, it was actually a really important game for the standings out west. Now the Pelicans remain as the 5th seed, while on the other hand the Spurs fall to the 7th seed, meaning they will be the ones to take on Golden State in the first round. 122 to 98, the final score in this one. Shaven Mirotic was great again with 21 points, 14 rebounds, while Rondo was also great again with 19 points and 14 assists. Well, the Knicks finally beat LeBron James. It finally happened in the last game of the season, even though the Cavs kind of threw this game by, only playing LeBron for like 10 minutes. Man probably would have sat out. He just wanted to say that he actually played all 82 games this season, which is really impressive. I mean, the first time in his career that he's ever played all 82 games at 33 years old. To be able to do that at the level he plays each game, it's impressive. 110 to 98, the final score in this one, though. Luke Cornet out of Vanderbilt, another guy that no one has heard of having a good game. He had 23 off the bench for New York. This was also a very important game for the standings in the Western Conference, as the winner of this game got the 3rd seed. As for this game itself, it wasn't very close. The Blazers just kept pulling further and further away. Dang, the Raptors just couldn't pull out that magical 60th win of the season. They tried, but Miami wasn't going to allow it. 116 to 109, the Heat beat the Raptors in overtime. Wayne Ellington was on fire, hitting 8 of his 12 triple attempts to score 32 points. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was the game the Magic needed in order to turn their season around. You know, there's still time. And in the words of the great Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. So who knows? Maybe this win is the window will flip the switch for the Orlando Magic and they can get back to looking like the team they looked back in the first 6 games of the season. Psych. Luke Kennard. That's all I'm going to say. I put him in the same boat as Malik Monk, a rookie that never really was given the chance to show what he could do until it was too late into the season. He did get playing time all season long, but he was never given consistent opportunity to play his game up until the past couple of games. He gave us Pistons fans a glimpse of the future last night though, as he scored 23 points to go along 5 rebounds and 5 assists in the Pistons 119-87 win over the Bulls. Eric Moreland also had by far the best game of his career with 17 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 4 blocks. Well, maybe this win will help Boston get back on the right path of the playoffs. They had been on a skid before this one, losing 4 of their previous 5 games. So this one, even though it was the last game of the season, kind of felt like a must win for the Celtics so they could just have a little bit of momentum heading into the first round. They beat the Nets 110-97, and while I say it was a must win, I don't think the Celtics really cared because all the regular rotational guys they normally play sat out, which means it was time for Aaron Baines to take over as he scored a career high 26 points to go along with 14 rebounds. Yep, the Nets got lit up by Aaron Baines. What a way to end the season. Andre Ingram got into the game again, but he wasn't as effective in his first game against the Rockets, but still, it was nice to see him out on the court again. And the Lakers demolished the Clippers the last game of the season. Gary Payton II hadn't done much at all this year, but finally lived up to his name a bit yesterday by having the best game of his career so far, with 25 points and 12 rebounds, while Josh Hart, who will be a nice rotational piece for LA over the years, was also great, hitting 7 of his 9 triple attempts to score 30. The Kings better have been able to win this game. The Rockets set out their entire starting lineup as well as Eric Gordon. So like I said, the Kings better have won, and they did, 96-83. Willie Cauley-Stein with 22 points and 11 rebounds. That's it though. That covers all the news, highlights, and discussions for yesterday. That's all we gotta talk about in this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to smack that like button if you did and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more daily NBA videos. Remember to vote for the player of the day, but also remember the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, that player was Alec Peters, the guy no one has ever heard of, and has 36 points and 9 rebounds. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see all of you right back here tomorrow, but until then, I'm out of here.